where at one point, one of the school psychologists actually told us that he tested on the mental retardation range. Now, we knew that wasn't true because a lot of special needs children just can't do the testing the way, society wants them to do it. And so we knew he was smart, just not in the same way in which, sometimes children are tested. And so that was one huge thing back when he was about 5. He was having a hard time focusing. He was having a hard time, they would say his head is in the clouds. He had a hard time just following his class, following along, things like that. And then also around second grade, they said he would not write. He had executive function problems, problems writing, because from the brain, you have to apply that and go to the paper, right? And so he was having problems with all those things. But over time, I like to tell Matthew's story because over time, I know people are in a really tough situation when they've got the younger kids, but with lots of work, with lots of prayer, with therapies, with nutritional intervention, I'm happy to say Matthew is very independent. We questioned whether he would be and what was life going to be like for us and him. And I was happy that I had the girl, later in life at age 40. We were healthy and able to have her later in life. And I thought she's going to take care of him. But I'm happy to say he can take care of himself. He is one of the healthiest members of our family. He's one of the just right on target. He drives. He works full time at Publix in the produce section. He now goes to school, college. He drives there every day down to downtown Jacksonville. So pretty amazing. I wanted to share that because I know as moms of special needs children, you need to hear that it is all going to work out. Well, one of the things to really always remember is to not just give in to kids' cravings. There was a child that went to school with Matthew, and every single day, every day, he got a Capri Sun or 2 and a McDonald's every day. You don't want to give in to their tantrums, okay? Because processed food is just not good for them. It's not good for their brains, and you want to focus on real food. Our brains, our cells, our bodies need real food, and real food has live enzymes and things that go to work on the body. So if you look at that watermelon, the watermelon rots, right? Well, I'm not happy to say that the one at the bottom, the processed food, fast food that people are lining up every day for, doesn't rot. We've tried this. Many of us have tried to see what happens. It doesn't rot. There's so many preservatives and additives. So you want to be careful. Always try to eat more real food that doesn't need a label at all, and just really trying to eat healthy. Well, one of the healthier people I know is next to share her story. And this is just a little quick, cute example of what she might pack for her kids, but I know it's actually better than this when she and her family go on trips. So I'm happy to hand you over to Trina, who's also a special needs mommy. Go ahead, Trina.
Hello, you guys. I am Trina, and I'm so glad you guys are here. I am going to share with you a little bit about my daughter, Tegan. She is an 8-year-old twin sister with her brother, Tristan. And, Tegan can be reserved. She is thoughtful. She, Sharon said, she, can lose focus and seem to be in her old world. We always call it Tegan's world. And sometimes I'm like, I want to be in Tegan's world. And I think it's fantastic. She is extremely witty, great ability to remember things. And she is a ball of life in her own way. And, Tegan's medical story really began one day when I was standing in the kitchen at the kitchen sink. Of course, I was doing dishes, and she was about 18 months old, and the TV was on, the kids were playing music, and Tristan was behind me. He was doing something with the Tupperware, making some big mess. And Tegan, she was in front of me in her bouncy seat. And I remember I glanced up from the sink and I suddenly saw her head fall unnaturally forward. And she hit the white tray and her face was blue. and her entire body was shaking. And I remember I ran around that counter as fast as I can. I'm yelling, no, no, no. And I took her out as quickly as I could. I laid her on the ground. I had no idea what was happening. And I remember I put my finger into her mouth because I wondered if she was choking on something. And her mouth and her teeth were just chattering like crazy. And she bit my finger. And but I kept probing. I wanted to make sure there was nothing in there. Somehow I got to my phone. I fumbled. I don't remember dialing 911, but I do remember hearing 911. Is this an emergency? And unfortunately, this was the first time for many grand mal seizures for Tegan. And over the next several years, she underwent many tests, and she has seen a wide variety of specialists since that time. And as we leaned more into Tegan's health, it became apparent that there was more wrong. And her diagnoses are complex. We always say that Tegan is just very unique, even within her diagnosis. And she's been diagnosed with seizure disorder, learning disabilities, developmental delays, autism, and ataxia. And ataxia is a degenerative disease of the nervous system, very similar to like cerebral palsy. It shows in those ways. And it really affects her coordination, her balance, her speech, her eating, her fine motor skills, walking and running, and her body often tremors. And she doesn't know life without physical therapy. And man, I love our therapists. I am so thankful for them, because she has done physical therapy, occupational therapy, hippotherapy, which uses horseback riding, and we love that. And our lives have been so touched because of therapists. And because of all this, clearly Tegan needs extra care and needs, and every activity in our life considers her disabilities. And one of the things I know we can do is really focus on her nutrition, because that's a controllable for me. I know that I can help her body to the best to my ability. And so we've really looked into how we can do that. And we use all of the Juice Plus products to do that. And this helps us in so many ways, because feeding her, heck, feeding my son, it's not always easy to feed kids, right? It's like, it takes a lot of work to do that. And I love that we've been able to have Juice Plus in our lives. She receives the Juice Plus gummies every single day. And we do this to make sure she's getting an array of micronutrients into her body. And we utilize the Complete and Perform shakes, which you'll learn more about soon. And this helps us get the macronutrients and fiber into her body. She is averse to eating many foods. And so this is a way for me to sneak foods into her shake that she's able to have every day. And I also throw in our Omega, which you guys are going to learn more about that. I love this product. I put it into our shakes, and I know that my kids are getting this every single day. And I know that this is really helping her body. And, because of the way her body works or is challenged with working, she has a hard time going to the bathroom and having bowel movements. And ever since we started adding in the shakes every single day, she's been able to go to the bathroom every single day. And there were days where it was 4 to 5 days before she would actually have a bowel movement. And there was one time we actually had to take her to the hospital because she was so backed up and she would go to the bathroom. And so those were some of the growing pains that we've gone through with Tegan, and I'm so thankful that we've been able to have this. And I am very proud to say that it has been since November of 2018 since she had her last grand mal seizure, and she continues to improve in so many ways. And we love life with Tegan, and as much as we give Juice Plus to her, I know that for me as a mom, it's really important for me to take care of myself, because I know that I need to be my best to help her be her best. And of course, I want her brother to have that same health too. And so here we are as a family hanging out together. And I just really want to thank you guys for coming and learning about our family. And I'd love to help out anyone as best as I can.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a great story. I loved hearing it. And this is just a picture so you get an idea. We have chocolate and vanilla complete shakes, and it's plant-based. It's just a way to get more plants in their diet every single day. Plants are what we all need at a cellular level. And next up is Alyssa, and I know she loves the shake, so I thought I'd put her next so she could just comment on the shake, and then we'll go to your picture, Alyssa. Thank you, Trina.
Awesome. Nice to meet everybody. Yeah, the shakes are so amazing. And one of the things I love about them, like you said, they're plant-based. And when I first started using Juice Plus and using these shakes, prior to that, I'd been using what I was familiar with, which was the whey protein. And I was trying to give that to my son with special needs. And man, that stuff like tore up his stomach every time. And I was just kind of stubborn. And I was like, oh, it can't, surely it's not that. But having the Juice Plus shakes totally transformed my confidence in what I'm able to give to my son and to my whole family. And I think it's probably really common for people who have kids with special needs to deal with food challenges and restrictive eating or picky eating. And it's pretty seasonal for us. Hunter honestly is really a pretty great eater. He's always been very motivated by food, but there are still seasons of time or times during illness where solid foods just aren't cutting it. And so it's great to have such peace of mind and a high quality product that's going to provide really great nourishment to his body. And I can mirror what Trina was saying about constipation. So Hunter, he is the little one down there on the left. So that's my husband, Corey, my daughter, McKinley, she's 9. The baby is Hudson, he's 2.5, and Hunter just turned 5. So with Hunter, we received an afterbirth diagnosis of Down syndrome and a heart defect. A funny side note, they discovered the heart defect first, and we were in the NICU for like almost a full week before anybody ever mentioned Down syndrome. And they very quickly shifted from saying, oh, he has your eyes, Alyssa. And his mom was like, oh, look at his feet. They look like his dad's. To pointing those out as like soft markers for Down syndrome, which was, you kind of have to find the humor in the dark places sometimes as a special needs parent. So that was kind of funny. But, people with Down syndrome have an essentially 100% risk of early onset Alzheimer's. Because they have an extra chromosome that is overexpressing multiple genes every second of every day. They deal with a lot of biochemical chaos, and those are the symptoms that are associated with Down syndrome. High amounts of oxidative stress and cellular damage and DNA damage, inflammation, especially neuroinflammation, low muscle tone, issues with digestion, poor immune function. I mean, the list is pretty long. They're also at increased risk for certain types of cancers, right? And so, that's a long list of concerns, of health concerns, right? Of course, we love Hunter for who he is, but what parent doesn't want to reduce the health risks associated with a particular diagnosis? And so my background is in the sciences, and as soon as I learned about Hunter's diagnosis, I went to work learning as much as I could. And one of the things I learned about was epigenetics, right? And so we can't change the genes that we're born with, but we can change how they're used or how they're expressed. And what really won me over with Juice Plus, because I said no to it for 2 years because I thought I knew what I was saying no to. I'm so thankful for my friend Stacy who didn't stop sharing. What really won me over was the research and the fact that it's NSF certified and there are no contraindications for it because it's food. And so, when Hunter was little, he was on heart medications for his heart defect, and some of those come with contraindications for other things. And man, there was just such peace of mind with that. And so the research is amazing. There are over 40 published clinical peer-reviewed studies showing benefit from head to toe. So like multiple body systems, all of the body systems are benefited by Juice Plus. And so that was just, and I tried to find a product that was better. I really did. Like the skeptic in me, the analytical part of my brain really tried to find something else or to find a reason that, Juice Plus wasn't what people were telling me that it is, but it is. It's really that straightforward. It is the power of plants and nutrition in a capsule, and it's really that straightforward. It's really that simple, and it's really that beautiful. And I will say too, on that note, you know, it really honors the power of the unknown. There's a lot that I know about Down syndrome. Like there's a lot that I've learned about his diagnosis and how to care for him. But I know that God designed food and he designed our bodies. And there are nutrients that are present in Juice Plus that we may not even have a name for. We might not have a way to detect or measure yet, but our body can recognize it and our body can put it to good work. And so that's just one other thing for me that is another layer of peace of mind and confidence in benefiting Hunter's health and my health. Again, Trina took the words out of my mouth when it came to, you know, understanding and honoring my own health. I'm a holistic health practitioner now, so I work with a lot of moms and women that have worn themselves into the ground, you know, sacrificially giving to those around them. And this special needs journey is, you know, it is that. And I know every single one of us would lay down our life for our kids. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't also live your life for them. And Juice Plus helps me do that too.
Well, that was absolutely beautiful, Alyssa. Thank you so much. Wow. I mean, we could end here, but we've got more. I mean, I think we all felt that. And I just wanted to amen the part about the nutrients. You know, in an apple, there's 10,000 nutrients, and only like 20 of them we might know of that are in a multivitamin. So there's so many more that are working in synergy. And so that is why we need those fruits and vegetables. That's why every government and every country has a minimum requirement. So yay. Well, it was great to hear about your family, Alyssa. And we're going to move on to Rihanna's family. And I knew that she had an awesome story that involved not having as many prescription and over-the-counter medications, which is part of our worldwide study with children getting their Juice Plus for free. We haven't talked a lot about that. We found that the children do not have to have as many medications. So that's why I picked this picture for Rihanna. And also, parents reported that 60% missed fewer days of school as well. And I know that in the Juice Plus community, this is talked about all the time. So I'm happy for you to meet Rihanna, who is another awesome special needs mama, and she's going to share her heart and her journey also.
Thank you, Sharon, and thanks to everybody for joining us tonight and listening to our stories. We could share these stories all day long, but when you guys join us, you get to help us share with the world this power of nutrition that we have come into contact with and we all have experience with. So thank you for coming tonight. So my story goes back all the way to the college days. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and then how that leads into my daughter's story. I became a raging sugarholic and I ate what I wanted when I wanted, didn't give it a second thought because I'd always been thin. And like many of us do, I kind of paired being skinny with being healthy. And we all know that that's not true. Right. So fast forward to becoming a mom of a child diagnosed with an incurable neurological disorder called Rett syndrome. And then 2 other children, in addition to her, all within just 3 years. So I had 3 babies in 3 years of each other. And needless to say, after many years of little Debbie being my ride or die and hoarding Oreos in my nightstand, I was chronically fatigued and one unhealthy mama. My gut was a mess, my face was broken out, and I was having heart palpitation, and this is in my mid-30s. So one morning I woke up feeling twice my age and had this horrific thought of what happens to my child who needs everything done for her if I am too sick, too tired, or too dead to take care of her. And I was not okay with that thought at all. So at that point, I became desperate for a lifestyle change. And then this is when the blessing of Juice Plus was introduced to me, a way that I could easily get a variety of plants into my body. And I knew that it was the answer that I had been praying for, but I had no idea that me saying yes to this transformation in my own health would also lead to a transformation of health for my daughter, Kaya, as well. So as I said, she was born with a very rare neurological disorder called Rett syndrome. Long story short of what that is, it's a very rare disorder that basically is a spontaneous genetic mutation that causes a traffic jam of messages from her brain to the rest of her body. So she was struggling with her health in an array of ways, from seizures and chronic acid reflux. She had a heart arrhythmia. She had breathing issues, lung issues, chronically constipated. I'll join in on the poop talk. Since there's many other mamas tonight, I'll join in on the poop talk. She was chronically constipated. We had to do Miralax every day, which was a pain. Anybody who's dealt with Miralax knows how much of a pain that is. And we were in the hospital about every other month for several years. And no doctor ever really pointed out to us about her level of nutrition possibly being an issue and how we could possibly get past some of these things that she was experiencing. So now I knew that nutrition wasn't going to make her walk and that nutrition wasn't going to make her talk again, because those are things that she was not able to do. This neurological disorder caused her to regress in her skills. And so she was kind of going backwards in some of the things. However, I knew that she could be healthier than what she was. The only problem was that she could not chew the chews and she could not swallow the capsules. So the rest of us for the next year and a half almost began benefiting from this amazing added nutrition, while we were, getting healthier, not getting sick as much, getting rid of the allergies and things like that. My gut was healing, heart palpitations went away. I actually started craving fruits and vegetables, like Sharon said earlier, instead of oatmeal cream pies and Hawaiian punch. I mean, I wanted water. But all that was going on while our daughter was still very much on the struggle bus. And it wasn't until we were able to, because she was regressing in her skills to chew and swallow, we finally had to get a feeding tube for her. And little did I know that feeding tube was really going to be the lifeline for her to get that added nutrition that she was lacking. So what I would do is I would actually twist open the capsules, pour the powders into a little bit of warm water to help make them dissolve, and then just pour it in her feeding pump bag. And I did that every day for the next however many years now. That was back in 2015. We're in 2022 now. So I did that every day. And sometimes she got 3 and 4 times as much as the dose, because I knew it was just food. And let me tell you, the first thing we noticed was that her gums stopped bleeding. And any dentist will tell you that if your gums are bleeding, you've got some serious internal things going on as well. Well, her gums stopped bleeding. The next thing that happened was that the poop gates opened up. And we've never seen so much poop from this girl in her entire life. It was amazing. And if you don't know, like, we're special needs moms. So of course, okay, we talk about poop. It's not a big deal. And then the next thing we noticed was our teachers telling us that she was actually staying awake at school, and that she could actually attend and let her personality come out, which is what we love the most, getting to see the whites of her eyes throughout the day. And then she stopped getting sick as much, which is huge, because with breathing issues and neuromuscular disorders, a lot of times that just getting a small cold could easily turn into pneumonia or RSV. And then many girls with Rett syndrome have died from those things. And so when I say her not getting sick as much, like, this is a huge thing for her not to get sick so much. And so she was removed from her seizure meds because no seizures had shown up since we started her on Juice Plus. She was removed from her heart meds. She's been able to be decreased by like 90% of the acid reflux meds, because the only reason why she's on that little bit is because of the hiatal hernia that she has. But her doctors look at her and they are just amazed at how healthy she is, how healthy she continues to be. And even in the fall of 2021, she finally got COVID after it had been out for a while, right? And her body knew exactly what to do because of the immune health that she had received, which Sharon might talk about actually a little bit, the immune study. But she kicked it in like 24 hours. It was no big deal at all. She got a fever, which is great sign. And then she was over it. She was all smiles and giggles the next day. So we've not had any hospital visits or emergencies or surgeries or anything like that in 5 years now, you guys, after it being like an every other month thing at one point. We've not had to go to the hospital for anything in like 5 years. So we'll be forever grateful to God Almighty for introducing us to this lifeline of nutrition. We've been able to get her through her feeding tube. And obviously I'm seriously passionate about sharing it with other families just to help it, because I know there's other families that are praying for solutions like we were. So that's my story. Thank you for letting me share, Sharon.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. And this is why we share. If people wonder, why are we a little crazy? Why are we so, all about Juice Plus? We hear these stories and we're like, everybody needs to know. Wow, what a difference in her quality of life and also the family's quality of life. That's what you really want to have. I muted myself. Okay. Well, we could not have done all of these changes without, lots of help. God, family, nutrition, and therapists, right? And teachers and paraprofessional assistants, whether they were teachers' aides or student aides. All these people come into play to help create that child who becomes more and more independent and more healthy. So one of those therapists is with us tonight, Kristen Bosse, and she absolutely helps families thrive. And she loves working with special needs children. She's got 3 children of her own. And she's going to just share with us, bringing it all together for us tonight. And then I'm going to share a little bit of the research and close it up after Kristen. But I'm excited to hear what she has to say, because she's got a different perspective, right? And we're all bringing our children to therapists. Ours started at like age 14 months, all the way through, high school, probably. I don't remember, but it's full time. You're going to therapist, speech, occupational, behavioral, or physical therapy all the time. So I'm happy to have Kristen on here with us. Go ahead, Kristen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you to all the moms who've spoken already. Special needs moms are my heart. I've been an occupational therapist for over 20 years. And I became a therapist because I had a cousin who was and still is one of the most incredible people that ever touched my life. And looking back now, I wish that I would have known then what I know now. So one of the moms said how you sacrificially give up your life for your children. And I can tell you that the story for my cousin's mom was that she would run from work to therapy to all the things. And so she would go through these drive-throughs and she would just eat whatever she could to try to get him to where he needed to be on time. And he spent many, many months in the hospital. He was what we would call like a lifer or a long stayer and those kind of things. And how you take care of yourself, don't feel bad, because like Rihanna said, if mommy's not there to take care of the kids, who is? Dads are wonderful too, but moms typically drive that special needs train. And I was introduced to Juice Plus about 11 years ago. And I thought, this is great. And I kind of pushed it away for my own children for a little while. And finally I gave in. And I thought, oh my gosh, what took me so long? And why didn't I know this for so many years before? I had come across some forward-thinking moms who would say, I took this out of their diet and I noticed this, or I started giving them this and I noticed that. And we would kind of look at each other and think, is that real? Does that happen? Because they don't teach you anything about nutrition in school. And doctors who are at the highest level, they are only taught 7 hours, I believe my doctor friends have told me, of nutritional counseling in school. They're there to fix you once you're sick, but not many doctors, especially in the past, were versed in how to prevent you from getting better or, getting sick. So fast forward to now, so I'm learning all these amazing things, and gut is a huge pain point for a lot of people. Kids, when you have a baby, what do doctors ask you? Do you go home, when they go home, how do they eat, how do they sleep, how do they poop? At some point, parents stop getting asked that question, and kids can become very picky eaters. And I can say I've watched some of the families I've worked with, and even I can speak for my own children. Sometimes it's easier to give into some of those food things, but when those food things are not available, then they're going to ask for other things. And one of the beauties of Juice Plus is it provides something called metabolic programming. So when you're giving your child the nutrition that they need, they're going to crave that nutrition more. And one of the other things that I love is I've had patients who are on G-tubes. They can get it much like Rihanna does for her daughter. You can mix it. Some people mix it into water and give it through a bottle. You can use the shake to make pancakes, muffins. There's so many ways to get Juice Plus into your child's life without it always having to seem like it's a chore. You can add it into things that the whole family can enjoy. And it will forever be one of the biggest blessings in my life and so many of the people that I've worked with. You don't know what you don't know till you know it. 60% of our brain is made up of fat. So the same fat that's in wild caught salmon and avocados, but people don't tell you that. People don't tell you that berries are great for your brain and for your vision and all of these things. And I would work with parents a lot, and they would say to me, my child can't pay attention. Okay. And I'd say, well, what does your child have for breakfast? I don't know. And then I think they have a granola bar, and they'd scratch their head and, do you even eat lunch? You know, I had a dad look at his son and say, do you even eat lunch? And the son would kind of shrug his shoulders, and dad would say, and then he'd go to do something after school and he can't attend to his homework. And I said, sir, can I ask you a question? If you put bad gas in a good car, would it run? And he said, no. And I said, your son has a nutritional deficit. And he had other, you know, he did have a diagnosis of a few different things. And I said, he doesn't eat anything of value. And he looked at me, and I said, have you thought about maybe trying to have him drink a smoothie with some wild blueberries, because they have higher antioxidants than blueberries that you buy in the produce section? Or how about some scrambled eggs or avocado toast? And the dad couldn't even like blink. And he thought, oh my gosh. And it's something that's so incredibly simple. Nutrition really is simple. If you take a step back and think of it, it's just the fastest and easiest thing to forget. And I'm an adult, and I can speak to it, but I found out more recently that I had a lot of weird little nutritional kind of things going on with food sensitivities. When those sensitivities were out of my diet, I felt so much better. Soon as I would get a little bit lackadaisical and let one or two things sneak back in, I would feel the difference. I'm an adult who can say, I don't feel well. Our poor kids, they can't always tell us that. And they still go to school, and they go to their therapies, and they go to do all their things, and we attribute certain things to a behavior problem. I so often encourage parents to keep a food log. See if there's something that you notice changes in the way that your child behaves. Add things one at a time. You know, parents will say, well, I want to add Juice Plus, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And I'll say, those are all great. And I know that special needs families are the most passionate families you'll ever meet. And they get so excited to do all the things. But sometimes we want to take a step back, and we want to try one thing at a time. And something that's so simple is Juice Plus. Something else that's so simple is water. You know, you want to make sure that your children are drinking water. Juice is so easy. I've heard people say Hawaiian punch, and you know, I know sometimes people like to put apple juice and, you know, different juices, and water them down. That's so important to have water in your system. That's going to help with constipation. My daughter was one of the chronic constipation kids. As soon as she started Juice Plus, that was a thing of the past. I can't tell you how many of the kids that I've worked with that have these bloated little bellies, and you know, they're so cute. They have their little Buddha bellies. Those are poop babies, we call them. You know, like their guts are so disrupted, and antibiotics are a wonderful thing to help you get better, but it can disrupt your gut. So we have to go back in and try to figure out what we can do to help the gut thrive. And Juice Plus is one of those things that is second to none in anything. Parents will say, you know, my kids are lethargic for therapy, and I'll say, well, what did they eat today? And I get the same look. Or they're very picky. I had a mom many years ago that I worked with her son. She's one of my favorite moms ever. Her son was diagnosed with autism, and she said, I saw his behaviors escalating to a point that I just couldn't take it anymore. And she said, so for me, it was easier, Kristen. I had to just get all the foods out of the house. She took all of those, the Danimals and all the things, all the sugary things, and she just got rid of them. And she replaced them with things that were better for him. And she said it was hard a couple days because he was looking for those foods, but it got better for her. And things started to go over time. And I actually today ran into the grocery store and I started to take pictures of the labels of things because while I do truly believe that parents have the best intentions to give their children the best things, we don't always know what's hiding in the labels of things. So, there was a natural peanut butter that I was looking at that had all these extra oils and things in it that we don't know. That could be what, a child is reacting to. Syrups. I was going through syrups and there were some that were just maple syrup and then some that had a list about this long. Those are all synthetic things that we don't know how they're going to react. Your child's going to react, or a child is going to react. I remember working with a little boy and he was so cute and just a really chill kid, easy, happy-go-lucky. And he'd come into therapy and one day he came in and he was just like, couldn't figure out what it was. And I looked at his mom who was so in tune to him and she's so incredible. And I said, what happened? She said, I don't know. He's okay. She's like, something had happened the day before and she had given him Benadryl, but it wasn't the dye-free Benadryl. And just the little amount of dye that was in the medicine that he needed completely set him off for the next day. And when you look at all the dyes, actually, I work with a lot of families and I like to send out tips and different things to them. And 5 of the 7 dyes cause hyperactivity. And think about a lot of the multivitamins. I've scoured Costco and other places, like just looking, to see what's in things because I'm so confident and so thankful that Juice Plus is so clean, being NSF certified. And if you don't know what that is, it's a 3-step process where Juice Plus is checked for herbicides, pesticides, and mold. And we know that there's nothing bad in it. But when you look at some of these other vitamins and things and foods, the dyes are just endless. And those are doing things that we can't control to our children. If their chat's going off, I don't know if they're questions. I can't read them. Was there a question for me? And I know I'm a fast talker. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we could take those questions.
Okay. I saw the chat going and I didn't know if it was a question for me, but I can honestly say that if there's one thing that you've done for your child, parents will say, we've done all the therapies. We've done all the things. We don't know what to do. And I'll say to them, did you look at nutrition? And it completely stops them in their tracks. And I sit down and I just say, okay, these are some of the things that we're going to talk about. And I met with a new family to work with this morning and mom sat me down on her couch and she said, I'm so thankful you're here because you believe in what I believe. And I truly believe that parent empowerment and simple things like nutrition are really the foundation for all things when it comes to all children, but especially special needs children, because those beautiful babies certainly do not come with an instruction book. And every day is a new day. And I also tell parents, if you're having a day, it's okay to cancel therapy. Your therapist will be okay. Because if mommy and daddy are not good, your baby's not going to be good. Your little babies and your big babies are not going to be good. So
I love that. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Kristen. Oh my goodness. I know we all loved hearing from you. That was so good to hear your perspective and that it really, comes down to some foundational things and you're really helping throw a lifeline to people. And I love that you love your Juice Plus now. Well, I'm just going to breeze through some of these research slides. Just at the bottom, you could just read the summary. But basically, one of the great things about Juice Plus is it's been proven over and over and over to help the immune system, to help with respiratory health, to help with lung functioning. That's really important. I know Alyssa loves everything about DNA and nutrigenomics. And basically what they found in 3 different studies is less DNA strand breakage. So what's great is that our kids have not had the same damage that we've had over the years, and we can slow that damage down with Juice Plus. Oxidative stress every day is something we have just by breathing. and that actually damages DNA, but Juice Plus has been proven to slow that by 12% in some, 44% in some, 66% in some. So it's pretty amazing. And all these studies are on the website, and we get back with whoever invited you to read the full studies if you want to. And then inflammation is a biomarker of, just correlated with problems in the body. And Juice Plus has been proven to decrease inflammation in the body. And one of our newest studies, which is, close to my heart, because as I said with Matthew, he had problems with attention, processing speeds, executive function, all these things down at the bottom that the study has proven Juice Plus helps with. So that was pretty amazing. That just came out in the last year or two. So all in all, just to summarize, kids eat free with Juice Plus, age 4 and up. Juice Plus has a food label, has research journals to back it, over 40, done at major universities and medical centers on human beings, okay? Not on rats, on actual humans, showing results from Juice Plus, the actual product. That's why thousands of doctors recommend it. It has the NSF safety seal of approval for athletes, but also is safe for children and also for pregnant women. It's so easy. It's like a 6-second habit, some people say, and it's totally affordable for families. So I just want to encourage you to give your family a healthy start. And, you'll be there for all the other things that need to happen with those special needs children, but why not have this foundation as something every single day? So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording, and we'll answer any questions.